Okay, this is part two of my predictions video. The first one kind of talked about some of the things that I expected when I came out here, some of the surprises and whatnot. No major surprises, but still a few, and it kind of keeps it interesting. Um, let's see. Okay, so here let's talk about. One other thing that surprised me was food cravings, the things I miss and the things I don't miss. And I had some people ask me about that as well. Not a lot of surprises there. I miss, having fast internet and constant contact with people. Um, I'm not missing people much. That kind of surprises me. But it's nice. Now I do actually have the ability to receive texts, and now my team has upgraded my the tech com, so actually can get emails sometimes, and they're sketchy. Mostly I get 5 words, and then the rest of it doesn't download. So that's very frustrating. And I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. They don't have any towers on this island. There's another island nearby that does have a tower, but it's around a bend and over a hill. So it's really bad, but it's better than I expected. So I am able to provide some feedback, and I had better communication than I had feared. So that's wonderful. I'm even able to send photos so you all can see at least low resolution of what's going on, and get an idea, feel for what it's like out here. Um, anyway, and some people thought that was unfair because I said that I wasn't going to do that, and I wasn't. I simply found that we could. So it's a balancing act. Do I want to cut off all communication um, and be a purist, or do I want to be able to share with people who are following what's going on and try to respond to, at least in a limited way? And so I did that. The fact is, there are a lot of people who do this kind of thing, and you know who they are. Yeah, I don't either, because they don't record this. So I'm going to record it and share that with you, share the experience with you. So if it really bothers you, just don't watch the videos and don't read the updates, and then it'll be as if there's no communication. I also feel a lot safer being able to do that. Um, I think psychologically it's also helpful. Obviously, it's not the same as sitting down and talking to someone, but I think any kind of quick message or text or something is very encouraging. Even sitting here talking to the camera is somehow fun and encouraging. It's not like talking to a person, but I think perhaps in some way that is a surrogate and probably is better than nothing. I talk to the dog and the goat a lot. Um, so I don't know. I feel pretty good. So maybe because of all these um, limited communication, that's helping quite a bit. Or I'm just able to deal with the situation. It's something I've been planning to do and wanting to do for a long time. So it's not just that I'm surviving. I actually feel pretty good, and that I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I would say I'm relieved. I was concerned that I might get out here and be like, this is absolutely terrible, but it's really not. This place is just amazingly beautiful. It's rugged and it's hard, but it's not. It's not bad. It's not trying to kill me. It's just if I get in the way, then bad things will happen. Bug. Um, so so there's that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, some other surprises. Cravings. Um, yeah, I'm more sensitive to like smells and things. So sometimes I'll smell like salt in the air, or I'll taste like I had oatmeal and I could taste the salt in it. It just seemed a lot more intense than it normally does. Or I walked out on the porch the other day and I was like, I smell death, or I smell it smells like something dead. And then I realized there were a pile of bones there, which I brought up from the beach for the dog. But I think in normal life, that's not even something I would have sensed. It wouldn't have hit that threshold. But I am a little bit more sensitive in that sense. Um, I also think that my senses are a little bit amped up, walking through the forest or down on the beach or something. If there's movement or a sound or something, it gets my attention very quickly. Um, I'm just very on alert. for bears or wild animals or really anything. In one sense, there's so little sensory or so little interaction that anything that happens is it's amplified. And then the other issue is just the danger. I'm always concerned about, every time I go outside, I think, okay, something could walk, 20 feet away, rush out of the woods and try to kill me. So it can happen, but I think the actual probability is extremely low. So I'm not cognitively I can put that in the back of my mind and not worry about it. Though emotionally, I think it's still something. So anyway, let's see. As far as winter storms, I think those are going to be pretty significant. It is pretty insane here. There are logs down on the beach, trees that have just washed up and they're way up the shore. So, we're going to have 10-foot seas, 10-foot waves, and just giant storms throwing that stuff up here. I've been told that. And if it happens, I'll go down there and film it. And it will happen. I can see what's been pushed up here. There are large things that have been pushed on shore. And that's not a little surf that threw those up here. So it's kind of interesting. The other day I found a buoy that was actually from China, or from Japan, I believe. And I found garbage from Japan as well. So those are small things, but there are large pieces of debris that have been thrown way up the beach. So we've got some storms coming. The weather forecasts from the past 2 years, I've seen 18-foot seas, winds up to 110 miles an hour, 110 knots. So I think some of that will be cut down because I'm up on the hill, but I will have the wind turbine, and I want to put that up. If I can put it up without getting killed or breaking it, that is really going to be amazing. Right now I've got several solar-powered systems as small as 5 watts. This wind turbine is relatively small, but it's 400 watts. So even if I'm getting 100 watts of actual power from it, it's really going to be able to provide all the power I need, just in a really big way. So 400 watts, I think that's in like 35 knots and going all the time. So that's obviously not going to happen up here, but if we have 10 or 15 knots half of the time, that is going to be basically unlimited power. I don't need much. So that would be very nice if I could, in the middle of the winter, if I could just run a little LED lamp. I've got a really nice one my brother sent me it's 3 watts, but it's got like 30 bulbs on it, and it's so bright. It's just amazing. I've also got some DC fluorescent bulbs that are real good and use very little power. So, all right. So my diet, I am switching from a lot of the easier foods like cans of chili and macaroni and cheese and that kind of stuff to more grains, things that take a lot more work. But I think that once I have time, and I'm going to have a lot of time to practice cooking, I think I'm going to be able to make some very good stuff, and I think my diet will get better, particularly if I can get out and kill something. If I can't, I may. No, we'll see what happens with Thor. But I think my weight will stabilize. Snowfall, we had 27 feet last year, supposedly. I don't think it'll be that bad this year. That was a record year. In Anchorage, at least, it was the most snow we'd ever had. I think it was 133 inches or something like that. So, obviously, we probably won't have the worst year again in 2 in a row. We could, but whatever. And actually, looking up the hills behind me, I don't know. Let's see if we can see it. But you can see that there's still snow right here. So, that's only another 500 feet up. There's still snow on the ground. And when I got here a month ago, it was down here. Let's see, boredom. If I have electricity, I'm not going to get bored. I've got lots of ebooks and, media, that kind of stuff. I've also got some real books, but I need lights for that. I've got candles, but anyway, hopefully I won't get bored. As long as I have light, I'll be able to write and read, and I feel extremely productive and creative. I've been doing a lot of writing, and I've had a lot of ideas. It's kind of nice when things get quiet. You can actually think more clearly, and then just kind of keep working on ideas and keep adding to them, and it just gets better and better. At least that's my perception. I think I may lose communication in the middle of the winter, so if I disappear for 3 or 4 months, don't panic. I'm either dead or I'm okay, and if I'm dead, don't bother. if I'm okay, then don't bother. I'll come back in the spring when I can. So that is, we'll see what happens. As long as my windmill or my wind turbine doesn't break, I'm going to have unlimited power. If it does break, and it could, it's rated up to 120 miles an hour, 120 knots. If it breaks, which is possible, or just stops going because of the snow, I've got some solar equipment, but that's probably less reliable because it's going to be buried in snow, even if it's on the roof, or I don't know what I'll do with it. I may just take it down because it's going to be a mess. It's also only 40 watts, the main solar panels for my house. Now I've got a 30 watt system, a 15 watt, a 5 watt right now. The big 40 watt panels are much more efficient and more expensive, but I suspect that even they will get very little power in the middle of the winter with 4-hour days. Also, I'm on the backside of a mountain, so that's going to cut off more sunlight. So I probably won't see the sun for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months maybe. And what I do see is going to just very barely power anything. So I may actually be able to power my communication devices and be able to send out a message, but I probably won't have any good photography. I probably won't be able to do computer work and that kind of stuff if I lose the the windmill. But I do have multiple satellite independent beacons if something really bad happens. So I don't expect anything bad to happen, obviously. But if something, the only thing that would really happen that I'd really need to call for help is a major medical accident, break a leg or something. If the house collapsed on me, that would be bad. Of course, then the question is, can I get to the communication device? If the house burns down, I could run and go to, there's several other old shacks here that I could take shelter in. And I've actually been thinking about taking some of the goat food, maybe half of the goat food, and caching it away somewhere that isn't in my house or near my house, and maybe some more sleeping bags. I've got 6 or 7 sleeping bags. So frankly, if, in the middle of February, if the house burns down and I'm not dead, and I have no way of communicating, I could go to one of those, the old ruins of the houses, and there's several here. I could go take shelter there, get in my old sleeping bags, and eat goat food, I guess, until spring. That would not be pleasant, but very doable, and it would save my life. So it's always good to have a backup plan. Let's see what else. If I do get hurt, I do intend for people to use the footage I'm shooting, and so I think I've said that several times, but I'm saying it on video, that I have, if things go badly, I still want people to use what I'm shooting. And I have a safe in my house, which isn't locked, but it is secure from water and from fire. So if the house burns down and I die, you can still get the footage, and my brother will take care of that. And then there's also 2 other locations. I'm hiding Blu-ray discs with all of the footage on this island, and it's all encrypted, but my brother knows how to open the files. So there will be at least 3 copies of everything encrypted and stashed away on this island somewhere. So it is my intent for people to use what I'm doing here. So have fun. Let's see. The last one is loneliness. I don't think I'm going to have a real problem with loneliness. I'm kind of an introvert anyway. If we have, if I am able to broadcast, or even, that's great. If I lose communication and I can still record, I think just sitting here and talking to a camera might be, psychologically helpful, as I've said before. Or maybe not. But I don't expect too many problems with the isolation messing with my head too much. I've been here for almost 2 months now, and I'm doing okay. I have run into a few people, but we don't hang out. I ran into some fishermen the other day, and we talked for about 10 minutes. They were nice people, but I'm fairly isolated. And come October or November, the visits will be over. No one comes out here after that. So unless you get a real reason. So anyway, those are a few of my predictions. We'll see what actually happens, but should be an interesting year. May not be comfortable, but I'm not really going for comfort. I had comfort, and I'm more interested in something very interesting, and hopefully this will meet that criteria.